Hello there internet, MegaMogwai here, and I got another video for you guys today. And today we're going to feature some Esper mid-range. I am going to go ahead and let you guys know what you can expect from this channel in at the very least, incoming 10 days. You can expect a lot of tryhardiness, and the reason why this is going to be is because I qualified for the Mythic Invitational Qualifier Weekend, which is going to happen on May 25th, unless I am derping in some way. And this is an event to qualify for Mythic Championships and such, I believe. And I did so by placing number 49 on the ranked ladder in the last season in Mythic rank. I got an email from Wizards of the Coast, and I am going to be prepping a lot for said event. Therefore, I'm going to be playing top tier decks and going to try to discover and attempt to break the metagame and do the best prep that I can do for this event. I haven't tryharded in card games in a while, like not until like last year with Artifact for a little bit, and I didn't even dwell into it that much competitively at the end of the day. And I really have been hungry for it. You know, I want to see how good I can do. Right? I think I can perform well, and I am going to try my hardest. Therefore, what I'm going to do in my streams these next few days is prep and just focus on trying to understand the metagame, break it down, and see if I can come up with a specific deck list that can match up well against everything that I expect to face, right? And it's going to be a difficult process because this metagame is quite diverse and is ever-changing. For a while, I thought that Esper Control was the king. And it turns out that the Fairy Time Raveler has made a significant impact on counterspell magic, and as a whole, counterspell gameplay is just not reliable. It's not bad all the time. Like, there's games in which it's gonna win you the game, but a lot of times, because of the presence of Teferi Time Raveler in the metagame, you're not going to win consistently, especially in a tournament environment with counterspell focused decks, because of the fact that you're not always going to be able to answer this thing at turn 3, and it single-handedly shuts down those cards, and that's a very powerful effect that is making a lot of people shy away from the likes of Esper Control and just counterspells in control decks in general, which leads to a very interesting metagame. We're seeing a lot of mono red aggro, very prevalent deck right now. Simic Nexus as well, even though it also gets shut down by Teferi, it's still somewhat prevalent, but it is falling down on usage as well. Like, it's kind of like receiving the same treatment as Esper Control is, right? Esper Midrange is making an impact. Arclight Phoenix, which is a deck that I showcased yesterday, is also getting more and more attention. And on top of that, we have Mono White Weenies, which is a very powerful, very threatening deck. And Bant Midrange as well, which I initially, you know, kind of overlooked. I didn't really think it would be that special, but the more I see it, the more it actually makes sense as a competitive deck, and I do think it's something that I have to prepare for as well. And yeah, all these are running around. We're seeing a lot of creature-based strategies. We're seeing Esper midrange being more prevalent than Esper Control, which I never thought I'd see the day, honestly, because Esper Control always just seemed flat-out superior. It's really crazy how much... how raveling oh god, the puns Teferi has been for the meta, and you know, understanding it and preparing for it, it's still a difficult task because I'm still running into some awkward deck lists, like for example the Simic mass manipulation list that I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard about, and today's video is about that. Today's video is about me just attempting to build a solid Esper mid-range list, get a feel for it, and running into a very difficult matchup in the high end of Mythic against a Simic mass manipulation deck list that focuses on stealing my shit. And, you know, that's a matchup that I did not account for when I was prepping at first. And I think it would make for an interesting video because it's a pretty dragged out war. And I think it's a very exciting series of games because you can go try hard in Magic, and that doesn't mean, you know, it's not exciting. I love watching high level Magic, and I think that's where I get the most, you know, pleasure from watching it. I mean, because, you know, I like making jank decks, but that's more of like every now and then, right? Like, I actually like to build decks that are good, and I like to see, you know, high level MTG gameplay myself, so I think I would showcase that off in my channel, since I do emphasize a lot of best 2 out of 3 while most YouTubers kind of like shy away from the format. I think You know, a lot of you appreciate that, me included at least. You know, I think best of 3 Magic is the real Magic, and it's going to be the format for the upcoming qualifier anyway, so that's what I'm going to be focusing on. So here we have an Esper mid-range list that I have been working on. It's still far from the final product, I think, because there's a lot of things that I need to reconsider, but I mean, I think far is a strong word as well. Anyways, this is a deck builder on Hero Precinct 1. We got an Esper mid-range list with Teferi, Hero, Dominaria, and Liliana as my late game bombs, alongside Teferi Time Raveler, because if you're playing Azorius as a core color in your deck, you have to play this card because it is that important in this metagame, unfortunately. And I know how we all feel about him, but it is a necessity. We have also Thief of Sanity, Hostage Taker, Deputy Detention, you know, the standard package for Esper midrange, but we're also playing Elite Guard Mage. I think Elite Guard Mage has been very underrated, and it's definitely pulling the work for me, or pulling its weight. It's pulling its English, as it replaces itself upon entry. It gives me a good enough body that flies, which gives me good utility versus decks like Arclight Phoenix. A good blocker in that sense, and can also fly over the opponent's creatures in a mid-range matchup and hit off on the planeswalkers as well, and is overall really solid against mono red aggro as well, with the life gain too. And drawing a card is generally better than discarding an opponent's card, which is what Basilica Bellhunt does. And also the mana requirement for Elite Guard Mage is way, what is the word I'm searching for here? Way more. Wait for it. Forgiving. There we go. Way more forgiving. Or, I don't know if that's the right term, but it's easier, way easier to cast than Deputy Detention, which I initially had in my sideboard, but ultimately I took out. So, that is the deck list right here. We have a 1-off of the Spark, 1-off of Dovin's Veto, 3 of Tyrant's Scorn, very solid early game removal, 2-off of Mortify, alongside 2-off of Ross's Contempt, and Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord, which really helps us out, and it has tremendous value potential with our early game creature curve. Alongside a 1-off of Enter the God Eternals, my sideboard is the following. We have 2 Duresses, 2 Moment of Cravings, 3 Dovin's Vetoes, aka Danny DeVito, 1 extra D-Spark, 1 extra Deputy Attention, 1 extra Mortify, 2 Oath of Kaya, 1 extra Hostage Taker, and 2 Time Wipes. This sideboard is mainly geared towards being able to enhance our matchup against creature-based decks. As you can see, we have a lot of life gain as well with Oath of Kaya onto the mix, and Moment of Craving to help out our matchup against mono red aggro, because mono red aggro is everywhere. It's very prevalent, and one of the key things for this event is being able to consistently beat mono red aggro, which is easier said than done. Believe me, like, even if you have like a billion health gain effects, and you think your matchup is amazing, it turns out it's not. It turns out mono red, like, the thing about mono red aggro right now is that they can just refuel like crazy. They got the Experimental Frenzies, the Chandras, like, they can just run out of steam and then just come at you with like a completely new hand like a few turns afterwards. Like, if you're in a top deck war against them, it's actually a scary thing, which shouldn't be the case because it's an aggro deck, but it's really strong. Like, mono red is in a very strong spot right now, so I think you could even argue for me adding like more Enter the God Eternals onto the sideboard and such, even though I feel like this card is very overrated personally. Like, it's, I don't know, I think very overrated in my opinion, but maybe I'm wrong. And yeah, we have triple Dovin's Veto, which can be still very prevalent. Like I said, counter spells can become a bit of a liability now, but I like it in the sideboard. And I do think Esper midrange can handle the likes of the Teferi Time Raveler, because we do have Hero Precinct 1 to enable us to get early game board presence to deny Teferi from. But that's, on paper, that's kind of true, but it really isn't. Like, we only have 1/2 drop and that's it. So dealing with Teferi is hard. So yeah, it's a tricky thing, man. Like, running counter spells nowadays is a tricky thing with that dude running around. But that is the deck list right there. And like I said, today's video is all about the matchup against Simic Mass Manipulation, because I think it's a very interesting matchup, and I think it's a very good series of games. And I think it's you know, nice to like focus on specific matches with these videos instead of like giving you guys, I don't know, I'll see how I do it with the format and stuff, because like I said, I have the time constraint of a video. I can't like slap in all sorts of different matchups in it, but I can showcase the same deck in several different scenarios, and I think that maybe that'll be the approach that I will take. But I really like Esper mid-range. I'm not sure if it's the one that I'll be bringing for the Mythic Qualifier. Like I said, I'm still, like in today's stream, I'm going to just brew as much as I can and try to figure out what the best deck list can be. Like, I'm pretty sure there's something waiting to be discovered, and hopefully I'm the one to do it. I can hope at least, right? So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a solid day. Hope you enjoy the daily MTG content. I really appreciate the support. Fucking love ya, and I'll see you tomorrow. And what is it actually? La Feria is like a national like Spanish event that happens across like every city, different dates. So the one in Sevilla, which is the capital of the southern region of Spain, I'll keep. This hand is a bit mana hungry, but I'll keep. I have a bunch of two-drop plays anyways. So as I was saying, yeah. The Feria. I'm gonna go hero instead of this. I wanna go a bit greedy here. This man probably has a frilled mystic, to be honest. I'd say he most certainly has a frilled mystic. So I'm not gonna play into it. You gonna play now? No, you're not. Breh, please. I'm not giving him the frilled mystic. I'm making it very awkward for him. Like eventually he has to make a play. Well, or not. Just the draw I needed. Obviously, we're entering the danger zone. I do think instead of perhaps the third Ross's Contempt, maybe I should be running. I would like another hostage taker in my sideboard. Gee, I wonder why he spent that amount of mana. Could it be because he has a frilled mystic? Alright, it's about time I bait that out. How do I bait this out? Do I play the hero priest in one? That could be a good target for him to, could be a good rest target potentially, so let's do it. He has another Frilled Mystic in hand, and again, we're gonna make his life hard.
Strange and magnificent world. Fight on without me. Behold, nature's true power.
And now with this D-Spark, can play without having to worry about the Frilled Mystic in his hand. I could just play Deputy of Detention, but I can't. It has to be a non-land permanent, so I can't target this. I think Sorin. I think at this stage Sorin. I go for the plus. Yeah.
You should fear those born of darkness. Time for a drink.
Because with Sorin, I could potentially go for the Hostage Taker. He could have a Mass Manipulation, though. That's kind of insane. It doesn't help the fact that we've been stuck at 4 mana for like a billion years here. It certainly does not help.
A triumph of the weak.
Why am I attacking? Why am I attacking? I forgot about this thing. I derped. Interesting. I guess he was fishing for it. Yeah, at this point it's... Alright, let's just... Okay. Alright, I gotta find out a way to beat this deck. Because this seems like a pretty rough matchup, but I gotta find out a way to beat it. I think we definitely need the Elder Spell because Nisa is like super important. We definitely need Dovin's Veto as a 4-of. D-Spark is fine as a 1-off. I refuse to go down to this fucking deck again. Like this is mono red all over again. How do I beat this strategy? I need to just deny their... I don't think I need to enter the God Eternals. The Liana's fine. Teferi. I also need to like not get mana screwed. Like I was stuck on 4 mana for God knows how long. Like how am I supposed to win a game like that at the same time, right? I think Sorin is fine as a 1-off. I have a feeling this hand is... I'm gonna keep it. I have turned 2 Hero Priest in 1, but I could easily get flooded with this. I felt like I was outplaying him the entire game. Like I was playing around the Frilled Mystic, but at the same time I wasn't drawing lands, right? And now I'm gonna draw too many lands. Seriously, man. Like whenever I reach top 300, this fucking bullshit happens. Like I have one game in which I cannot get past a certain amount of mana, and now I have a game in which I'm just constantly drawing lands, man. All right, let's drop this here. Let's apply pressure. We have Dovin's Veto, which means we can counter an incoming Nisa, if that's what he tries to go for. Unfortunately, now we're open to Anissa. I really hope he doesn't have it. Alright, that was a good draw. We're getting a little bit flooded here, but we have just enough cards to, I'm just happy that wasn't Anissa, because that would have been a pretty rough turn for us. We need to always make sure that we can counter that. Right now, we're in a really solid position. Like, as long as we get this Thief just poking at him. That's good, too. When I call this a turn, I'm not in a huge rush. Like right now, this board state is in my favor. Like I'm killing before he kills me. Look, so he has to make a proactive play himself. We don't care about the Frilled Mystic that he has in the back. Here comes the DJ. Here comes the DJ. Okay, so now I have a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which means I can play these 3.
excellent timing. Trust me, I have a plan.
Denied. All right. Game 3. Okay. I think we can let go of the Elder Spell for now. We can add another rest because we need to be able to dispatch his hand. We need to make sure we can always like take a look at his hand. I would like all these dresses. Like it's important. It's super important to be able to always attack his hand. I think 3 Thief of Sanity is enough. Though honestly, I'd rather have 4 Thief of Sanity instead of like the Elite Guard Mage. I don't think I need the Elite Guard Mage here. Am I missing anything else? Nope, it's all about denying the big plays while also answering the early game ramp and not losing to Nisa. I don't think it's just not good to run Elder Spell just because of Nisa. I have other ways to deal with her. Well, we're gonna mulligan this and hopefully get a playable hand. All right, I'll keep this every day of the week. I keep this. All right, just turn 1 land over elf. Get up with Godless Shrine. Let's go with the Thought Erasure first. Let's take away the Frilled Mystic. Let's get rid of you.
Show remorse, I'll show restraint. Here we go. That according to plan.
Did he find a Frilled Mystic is the question. Did he just top deck a Frilled Mystic? I should have taken this. That was my mistake. I should have gone for the hostage taker play. I should have always gone for the hostage taker play. I was too preemptive there, and that may end up costing me the game. Okay, we dodged the bullet there. Oh boy. Crisis averted. For now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go for it. Alright, I need him to not top deck something really strong here. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6. Jesus. Jesus, dude. He keeps throwing Hydroid Crassus at me. God damn, dude. He top decked really nicely. This is my only way of beating him now. I have to hope no more Hydroid Crassus, and I gotta rush him. I gotta rush him. If that's another Crassus, it's over. That seems like a Crassus. Fuck. Fuck my life, man. I mean, I'm kind of like, it's the consequence of not just playing the... Oh! 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 Oh my God! Oh, I dodged a I dodged like 7 bullets there. Holy shit.